Hi guys, it's your girl Makhoto Mahlachi and you are on Alpha Talks. So if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe and turn on that notification button so that you can get a notification every time I post. So today I'll be talking about something that I recently just learned, which is basically the importance of accepting things that I cannot change and having the courage to change the things that I can. So basically for me to get to that lesson, what was happening was that I was a bit frustrated these past few weeks, basically about everything that's happening. I mean, with this whole COVID-19 having to cancel everything, and being home was just so different for me. Me going through this is something that has been frustrating me, I think, since last year. If you can go back and look at my videos, it's been frustrating me because I've been talking about it. Basically, being someone who has a mental disorder, and having people in my community, which is the Black community, not understanding what it is and constantly having to explain to people, yet those people still do not understand what is happening. So that is something that has been frustrating me for a very, very, very long time. I mean, yeah, I've been telling myself that I'm accepting the situation, but it keeps on, frustrating me, and I keep on getting that whole thing. Yeah, where I need to change the way these people think. I need to change the way these people see things, because that's me. That's Makhoto. Makhoto is a perfectionist, and Makhoto likes to have things done in her own way. And I guess I also have this thing where I want everyone to see things the way I see them, which honestly speaking is just terrible. So me being a perfectionist and liking everything to be done a certain way, it can sometimes be frustrating for things not to be done the way you want them. So recently I've been seeing this lady, she's a new psychologist that I've been working with, because I'm in Leidenberg now, and my psychologist is in Joburg, so I had to see someone new here before my head goes poof, you know. So as when I went to my first session, I think she noticed that in me, that I do not know the difference between these two things, the things that I can change and the things that I cannot change. And well, we spoke about it, and she asked me the question, Gore Makgotso, what is it that you feel you are in control of, and what is it that you feel you are not in control of? And so I started talking, and as I was talking and explaining and telling her my answer, which I'll share now, I got to learn things and realize a lot of things. So my answer was, obviously I can't say it exactly how I said it there because I don't remember. But basically what I said to her was that I know that I'm not in control of how other people see mental disorder and how people understand it, and whether or not people think it's a real thing or if we're just attention seekers. But I am in control of how I take their response to things. So if I go to a fellow friend and I'm like, okay, there's depression, there's anxiety, and that fellow friend is like, depression and this anxiety is just white people things, because that's what we say as Black people. It's the truth, that's what we say. It's up to me as to accept what, okay, this is how the person sees it, fine, or this person is crazy, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, as I was telling her the things that I feel I can change and the things that I cannot change, I realized where my problem was. My problem was that I was expecting everyone to see things the way I wanted them to be seen, or the way I see them, and that can be a problem. And that is the problem that exists now. We keep forcing our beliefs on other people, we keep forcing the way we think and see things on other people, which is just wrong. Because I remember I also gave her an example of religion, which is the topic that causes most arguments and most fights, where I told her that you meet someone who's Christian and someone who's atheist. Atheists, they don't believe in God. They don't believe there is a God. Or I think they believe that, I don't know, or they think they believe that they are God. I don't know, somewhere there. Some of them believe in the universe. I don't really understand it, but Exactly. That's how it is, you know. And then you find me who believes that there is a greater being, which that being God. I read the Bible, I believe in Christ, I believe in the Trinity. And then we end up getting into a battle where now my friend is forcing me to see it as the universe, or see that I am the God, me, Mahoto, and me saying, no, there's a greater being, greater than me, and greater than what, you know. And that is where the conflict arises. So it's important for me to actually know the difference, for me to actually know what I can know what I can control and what is beyond my control. So yeah, so and after that conversation, I was reading a book, which is Idiot by Laura Clary. It's kind of a very good book. She speaks about her life, you know, it's like a memoir kind of a thing. She speaks about her life when she was going through addiction and how she got out of it. So she mentioned this thing that they were taught when they were in AA, right? I actually wrote it down somewhere, but I think I lost it. So this thing, I'm gonna read it to you guys, and this is one thing that then clicked into my head, and I was like, I need to practice this, and I need to keep these words with me forever. You know, so basically it says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things that I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And basically she says what this meant for them was that you need to ask yourself, is this something that I cannot change? If the answer is yes, then you work on changing it. If the answer is no, then you accept. You cannot be in the middle. It's either yes, you work on changing it, or no, you accept it. That's just how it was. And I think that is a very good system, you know, that will stop us from being frustrated by a lot of things. So yeah, that is where I learned that I need to stop trying to get everyone to see things the way the way I see them. I need to stop forcing my beliefs on other people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a get saved now and believe in Jesus or else you're going to hell kind of a person. When it comes to religion, I understand, but I think my main issue was on the whole idea of what is this, the whole idea of mental disorder, where I kept forcing everyone to actually see things the way I do, to the point where I'd go on the internet and get links and send them to people so that they can just see things the way I do. And when they didn't, it frustrated me. Like, yo, I'd get so angry, I'd cry, probably even hate the person. I don't have hate in my heart, I'm kidding. But yeah, that was just the situation for me and with me, you know. And after I learned this thing, I went back to the drawing board and I asked myself, okay, Mahotso, what are the things that I can change and what are the things that I cannot, you know? Also, another thing that I learned with coming to this whole realization about things you can change and things you can't is that sometimes we go to people with expectations, and the expectations are what usually leads to us being very angry and frustrated. Because now, when I go to someone and I say, I'm going to maybe preach the word of the Lord to this person, and this person still tells me, no, what you're preaching is just being brainwashed and you don't believe in that, I get very angry because I go there with the expectation that this person is going to see things the way I did just because I explained it. But now other people's response is not my it's not in my control. You know, what is in my control is how I take those things and how I go to that person. So also having expectations can sometimes lead to a lot of mistakes. It can lead to a lot of disappointment in every thing, you know. Even when you get into a relationship, I know I'm getting out of, yeah, but even when you get to a relationship, if you get in there with expectations, you sometimes get out of there disappointed because you had expectations of the other person and the other person did not even know that you had those expectations, you know. So yeah, that is basically what I learned with this whole thing. And I was given the task to draw something. I want to draw it first because I probably don't even know how to explain it. So I was given a task to draw two circles, right? two circles, one small circle and one big circle, right? So in the small circle, I write all the things that are within my control. So those are things I can change, right? And then in the big circle, things that are beyond my control, which is things I cannot change. And then, yeah, okay, I'll just show this to you. I know it's going to be the other way, but I just want you, the important thing is seeing the circles. So these are the circles, you understand? So in this one are things that are within your control, and these are the things that are beyond your control. And therefore you write, you draw it. If you are a creative person better than me, you can add some colors, decorate it, and put it on your wall somewhere where you can see it. And then from there, you actually from there, whenever you are in a situation, you can always go back to that circle or that diagram of yours and look, is this something that is in the small circle or the big circle? If it's in the small circle, what do I do now? How do I change it? And if it's in the big circle, okay, sharp, I can't change it, accept the situation. Because now another thing is sometimes we're frustrated by things that are in the small circle. How so? You have a friend, and the friend is very toxic, and the friend is treating you bad, and you're frustrated by the treatment that comes from your friend. Yes, you cannot control how your friend acts or how your friend treats you, but you can still control that. You know what, I don't want this friend in my life anymore, I'm cutting this person out, and you leave. So sometimes there are certain things that you can do that you can then change and get rid even of the things that you cannot change. Because the minute you learn to accept the things that are in the outside circle, you'll be able to deal with the things that are in the circle. Because now accepting things that you cannot change doesn't necessarily mean you have to stay in a whole toxic friendship, all in the name of, I have accepted, she's mean, she always tells me I can't do anything, she always tells me I'm good for nothing. And then you accept the situation. What is it that you can change in the situation? You can change the friendship. You can decide that I don't want to be friends with you anymore, I'm out of this friendship. So it's really important, which is why it says the serenity to accept those things and the courage to actually change the ones that you can change, but also the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom to know the difference. That is the most important one. The wisdom, knowing that this is what I can change and this is what I can't, knowing that this is what I can do and this is what I cannot do, rather than us staying in some situations that are just crazy. But there are also other situations like that you really just cannot change. What kind of situation is that? Right now it's lockdown and we are all at home. Some of us are with our husbands, some of us are with our kids, some of us are with our parents, some of us are with our friends, some of us are with our housemates, you name it, right? And as people, every human being has their own mind and their way of thinking and their own way of doing things. And what does that mean? It means sometimes we will not see eye to eye because of that. Sometimes we will not see things the same way simply because the other person has their own way of thinking and their own way of things. They've been raised in different areas. That now speaks about having a roommate and things like that. And it's lockdown. You're stuck here. You can't run away. You can't go anywhere. So that is the case where you now have to accept the things that you cannot change. You accept, okay, this is my roommate, she's crazy, I can't deal with her, I'm not going to try to change her, I'm just going to accept her how she is. Then try and avoid instances or things that can lead to you guys always arguing and fighting and everything, but accept how she is, because the key is in accepting that this is how my roommate is and I cannot change how my roommate sees things. And I think that will bring more peace in the household for you as well. Also getting to understand why people are the way they are, because I am a firm believer of everything has a root. Every action, every way of thinking, every person's personality has a certain root. Trying to understand the root of all these behaviors can be very important and can help you actually understand and accept how the person is. You know what I'm saying? So I think also wanting to understand the root of the person's behavior and why the person behaves the way they behave can then lead to you accepting things faster and make it even easier and making you less frustrated. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. I feel like I was just blabbing and blabbing, but I hope I made sense. So let us, with this lockdown, let us work on firstly understanding why people are the way they are, understanding why people think the way they think, understanding why people see the way they see, so basically finding the root. Secondly, having the wisdom to know the difference between the things that are in our control and things that are not in our control. Thirdly, the strength to actually accept things that are not in our control. And lastly, the courage to change the things that are in our control. So I hope everybody is staying safe. We're all washing our hands. We're staying indoors and only leaving the house when we really need to. Thank you guys for watching this video. My name is Makgotso Mahlachi and you are on Alpha Talks.